We're going to talk about money market funds, clean spark warrants, and MicroStrategy today. So buckle up. We're going to talk about some real volatile assets this morning as we analyze what occurred yesterday. But first of all, let's look at the money market funds here. So you can see that for November 20th, we actually reduced it by just a very small amount. Retail is still increasing their money market fund holdings, and institutions have decreased it by about about $30 billion, while retail is still increasing. Okay, so what does that tell us? That tells us that institutions are getting invested in the assets they want to hold for this Christmas rally, and that retail is doing what it normally does, which is bringing up the rear to buy up the bags of the institutions. So when we start seeing this number here go down for retail, that's what I'm going to say. We're going to start looking for some real bad stuff to happen. Okay, they still got their money sitting waiting to be deployed while the institutions are deploying their money. That means that they are building up the market so that retail can then come in and buy the top. So when we start seeing this one decrease on the retail side of things, that might be time to start looking at, are we at a top at this point in time? Okay, so that's what we're talking about with the money market funds. That's why we look at it. All right, so that is that. Let's move on to warrants. These are some of the most exciting things I've ever owned so far. This thing is crazy. It is whipsawing all over the place. It is spiking up, it's spiking down, it's everywhere, and it is insane what this thing is doing. Okay, so where did we get to on the downside here yesterday? So this is a 15-minute chart. We came down, we came all the way outside of the ATR bands, hit the market. This is a market bias, this one right here. It's a different indicator. It's a whole other indicator. Market bias, it's kind of like it's similar to like a 100 moving average sort of thing. It's a little different though. I occasionally take a look at it. Okay, it's not a big deal though. So take a look at the volume profile. Nothing shows up on that yet. Okay, that's interesting. Bring up the volume on the bottom here. That's also, okay. Anyways, so we got this aggressive downtrend. Let's draw some stuff on this thing. So we got this aggressive downtrend, and we've sort of broken it now, and we're going sideways. Now, we've got two options here, okay? 89 cents. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So what these lines are here is I've got the 764. Is that what it is? Let me draw one. Make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, 786. 786, 618. I always forget that. 786 down here, the 618, and the 382 on the fib. So these are fib levels, and I colored them accordingly from the bottom to the top of this move. So just because the fib was kind of making my chart hard to look at. All right. So we broke the 618, came right back into it, headed for the 382. Didn't quite make it. We need to get above this 200 on the 15 here, maybe even on the 30 minute. Let's look at what the 30 minute shows us on that. Okay, we are above it on the 30 minute. That's not bad, but we do need to still get above it on the 15 minute. Once we get above that, this little formation right here, this is a bit of a pennant. Let me draw it. This is a bit of a pennant. I don't necessarily love that because that means it could break either direction. Okay, I don't want to see it break either direction. I want to see it break up when it breaks. So this thing did this so fast. I made this video yesterday when it was still up here, right? When it was still at like 130, I made a video, and it started coming down. Maybe it was at like 104 or something. I can't remember. It was somewhere between 130 and 104. I made a video, and I did the fib retracement, and I said it's going to come down maybe to this this 786, and then bounce from there. Minutes after I posted that video, we got these big red candles that dropped it all the way to the bottom of that thing, and I ended up pinning a comment that said, "This is happening now." So it looks like we're going to maybe potentially linger here for a little while. So we might linger in this space for a little while and then see that spike back up into the 160s. If we see clean spark, of course, eclipse $18, this thing's going to go to $2 like in a hurry. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that's what's going on with the warrants right now on clean spark warrants. And as always, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. This is simply an analysis of the charts and what I think of when I'm looking at these different patterns and candlesticks forming on these assets. Remember, a lot of the mobile platforms, we're talking Robinhood, we're talking Webull, those ones don't allow you to trade these things, okay? They allow you to sell them. They took away the buy button again, basically is what I'm trying to say. They took away the buy button again because you were able to trade them when they first came out back here on November 4th. You were able to buy them on Webull, and then after they halted it, they have not brought it back for buying, but you can liquidate it. So they took away your buy button on Webull. I don't know about Robinhood, but it's probably the same thing. And then with the legacy ones, we're talking Schwab, Fidelity, Interactive Brokers. You can still buy these things. I know some of them you can buy after hours and pre-market. Some of them you cannot. I believe Interactive Brokers will let you do pre-market and aftermarket. Schwab will not allow you to do those. It'll allow you to trade these only during trading hours, which is going to be 9:30 to 4 p.m. Okay, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that brokerage. Okay, so have you missed the boat on this one? And I've been saying this over and over and over again for this whole sector. The answer is a resounding no. You have not missed the boat, but you have missed the shove off, and the shove off was pretty spectacular. I am sitting on all gains all around, and of course it is pretty easy for me to sit here and say that you haven't missed the boat when I'm sitting on 100% gains, 50% gains, whatever the different assets I have are at. Like my Bit Digital is like 80-90% up, my Clean Spark is 30% up, my IREN's 50% up, my warrants are up 100% still, even after I bought back at 60 cents yesterday, 60 some odd cents yesterday. I followed this game plan, by the way. I had orders set to buy at these different levels, and I still have some orders down near the bottom there to buy more. So take everything I say with a grain of salt at this point, because I'm riding high here. I'm really doing my portfolio is fantastic right now. So it's and I'm still holding. So I don't think that the boat is fully out into international waters quite yet, but the shove off was spectacular. You definitely missed the shove off part, and it's going to be more expensive. You're going to make less money at this point in the cycle. That's just kind of reality there. So it's still very exciting times. Let's take a look at Cipher warrants to give us a bit of an idea of how these things act when they're like brand spanking new. Let's put this on a daily chart, and let's go all the way back to the beginning of these things. Okay, so they're back here in 2021. It's when these came, 2020. So the Cipher warrants, these came out in December 2020. December, so just 1 month further into the year of the last halving cycle. Okay, so just 1 month later in that cycle of the last halving cycle, and what happened? Look at this thing. Cipher, it went up, it came down, went up way big again. So it started at what? 60, almost 70 cents, spiked up to $1.19, came back down to 87, spiked up to 150, came back down to $1, spiked back up 147, back down to 119, back up to 172, and by March, so we're talking 4 months later, this thing was at $3.56. Okay, talking 4 months later, $3.56, but there was a big drop that took it all the way back down to the very beginning again. See that right there on March 4th, all the way back down to the beginning again. So we could see something like that on Clean Spark warrants, right? We'll probably, since we're in a very similar time period on a very similar asset, we could see it drive higher, losing 40 to 60% along the way every couple of days, while driving higher and higher. And one big scary drop off taking us all the way back to where everything began. Potentially, if that happens, it may or may not happen. And that would be, I don't know what happened March 4th, 2021. I'd have to look that up because that was dramatic. And then from that sell-off, an absolute launch. So this is the game plan. Honestly, this is the game plan. In terms of holding, I'm looking for it to basically drive higher, losing 40 to 50% after every big pump. Potentially, if something happens, a big drop off for 1 day, and then we will see, or 2 or 3, and then we'll see a big move up on it. That's what I'm looking for. So I don't think that it's over. I don't think that we've fully missed anything just yet. I do think that there is opportunity to get it cheaper, but probably not as cheap as you would have gotten it earlier in the month. I don't know if we're going to go back below like 50 cents. And if we do, I've got to have my order down there and it's waiting for it to go to 38 cents. I have my order at 38 cents, waiting to pick up a whole bunch of this stuff up. Will I get that? I don't know. I don't know if I'll get that. I got what I could get, and now I'm waiting for it to come either down or take what I have higher. That's basically where I'm at here with the warrants. And every time I see a like 100% plus spike in a day, you better believe I'll be trimming some of my position, waiting for it to drop, do that 50% drop the next day or two, and then buying more to drive it even higher. Okay, now let's look at MicroStrategy. So what happened to MicroStrategy yesterday? It dropped off big time. And why did it do that? Well, yesterday, let's see, Citron Research released a short report on MicroStrategy yesterday. What's our general feeling with short reports when they come out? Usually that the market is going to drop that stock and then very, very swiftly recover it. And that's how I'm playing that. I went in on a pretty aggressive sold put on MicroStrategy yesterday. I got burned pretty bad for that. I'm down like $3,000 on that today right now. I got in. So let me show you when I bought that thing. I bought in around here on this second big red candle. So about halfway down this big move. But what I like here is if we look on the hourly here, it came down to my market bias, right? Usually when it hits market bias, it likes to do a little bounce. Look, it did it twice. 1, 2, 3. This third tap, if it breaks through that, then I'm going to get real, real scared. But I don't necessarily see it doing that. You can see momentum has flattened out here. The stochastics are starting to point up. I wouldn't be surprised if once we take out 424, if we find ourselves back at 450 and even maybe 480 within a couple of days. I don't see this as anything but an accumulation zone. Like it came down, found equilibrium, and I'm looking at an accumulation zone right here on MicroStrategy. And I would not be surprised if Bitcoin goes over $100,000 to see this thing right back up to $500 in a hurry. Now, of course, on the downside, we come down to this area here, right? We lose 373, we're going to 340. Okay, we lose 373, we're going to 340. That's just them's the rules. Okay, that's just how it is. If we lose 340, we're going to test down to 316, maybe even 300. If that happens, this is a pretty brutal sell-off. Usually that will be met with some kind of a bounce. If not, we're going all the way down to 340, maybe even 300. On the way up, we take out 425. We have room all the way up to 451. We take out 451. We've got room all the way up to $500 again on MicroStrategy. So this thing is gonna be a rocket, whichever way it goes. It's gonna be a falling stone or a launching rocket, one of the two. I don't like how it's hanging out near the bottom of this candle today. Here on the daily, we might see where the 21 is. It's all the way down at 328. 21-day moving average. We're above the fib clouds. We're above everything. I was kind of thinking this party would go on another day, but that stupid short report came out and kind of ruined that for me, didn't it? Oh, I hate short reports. They're so annoying. Anyways, I don't know what's going on down here. Get rid of that. Actually, was that important? Oh, it was important a really long time ago. We blew that out of the water. All right, get rid of that. Okay, so if I run a fib on this, let's take a look. Let's run a fib on this. So bottom is right here for this swing. Swing low is right here. Swing high is up there. Oh, look at that. We came right to the 786 and bounced. Looky there. So if we are to believe this is an institutional buying zone off of this previous cycle low. And if we hold above the 618, we're going to move up to the 5, which is at 432. We get above that. We close some candles above that. We're moving back up to the 382 at 458. And we close above that. We're opened all the way back up to the top here, the all-time high at 544. So that's really all I've got to say about MicroStrategy today. There was a short report. It dropped it dramatically. It went 16% down. If you're an MSTX like I am, you lost 30% on that in one day, which is pretty dramatic. That's okay. That'll be fine. Today we can see that we're clawing some of that back. It's really all just due to the short report. We'll see how that plays out. They already made their money, so they may have already closed that and we'll start covering it soon. And that's about all I've got for you today. So please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.